Okay, I see what it is.
Well, you can get up to front.
It is 6:02.
Okay. Is that right?
Yep.
The meeting is now called to order. At this time, when we have an invocation.
Let's bow. Our Father in heaven, we are so grateful that you have allowed us to assemble again here in this place, the seat of government. And we pray that you would guide our thoughts and minds and our hearts, give us consensus in the things that matter to the people, and bless us that we might all be helpful one to the other as we try and do our best for the people and the citizens who have elected us to be here. We thank you now. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everyone. We're so glad that you've chosen to join us today. It's such a pleasure to have people that care about what's going on in the city, and they take their time out to come and share with us. At this time, I don't think we have any comments. We don't have any comments, so unless the council members have a particular comment at this time. No comments. And so that takes us down to item number 1. The city administrator's update on city projects. We like that.
Mayor and council, there's been a couple discussions. Our meetings have been so busy. It's hard to include them on a lot of our meetings, but I want to keep council apprised of the projects that are going on and give an opportunity for input and questions. And I have it printed out before you and on the screens. This is just a quick recap with a little bit of a timeline to show where we're at in the process. Our Texas Water Development Board project are the ones that include East Goliad and East Houston water mains. We're putting in 8-inch water mains where we currently have 4-inch cast iron water mains. And that serves the entire Houston and Goliad from the loop to the square. And so that's going to be a big improvement. Currently we do have some problems with leaks, but a lot of it's just corrosion or crustation within the lines have reduced the size down to, in many places, less than 2-inch diameter wide. So it's going to be a big improvement. Surveying and bidding. Surveying has been complete. They've completed all of the topographical surveying, and they're marrying those up to their engineering specifications. And they're going to go to. We're planning on going to bid within the next month or so. If Texas Water Development, well, as soon as Texas Water Development Board approves our surveys and engineering, there is a little bit of a time, that it takes for them to do that, but as soon as we get it back from Water Development Board, we'll be able to go out for bid and begin construction. So we hope to do that within the next couple of months. East Houston and East Goliad are going to be a significant work zone over this year. They're going to take it in segments, do several hundred feet at a time. And so there'll be road closures. They're going to try to maintain it to 1 lane, but depending on the location and everything, may have to shut it down and detour. So there's going to be significant construction coming up. So those in that precinct, just letting y'all know. Obviously, there's going to be lots of traffic and safety implemented into that, and thought that goes into that. They're not just shutting it down every morning, and make the decision. They'll give notices to homeowners, and they're having to put temporary above ground water lines to service the homeowners while they're replacing those in the street.
Doesn't work the best.
Hey John, when we get ready to fix all that street and everything on Goliad over there, is that gonna fix that where 10th Street comes across there, all that drainage and everything?
Yes, sir. That's been submitted to TxDOT, TxDOT has put it in their preliminary 2024 construction budget, that after our water lines are done, they will go down and do a complete mill down, pull out their old road. There's 2 or 3 layers of milling of overlays right now. So our curbs are down here, and we've over the years added a couple other layers of street. So they're taking all that back down past the curbs and coming back up to the curbs like it should be designed. With that, we have already ran our cameras back into those storm drains that run from East Goliad all the way over to Gordon Drive, where that creek is. There's a creek that goes down Gordon. That's where that water line runs to, that storm drain. It's in good shape. The only thing we could attribute that problem to is just over the years is just things have happened and increased runoff. Those outlets are too big. The storm drain outlets from the street are 12-inch, and they said if they would design it nowadays, it'd probably be more like 36-inch times 4.
Yeah.
There's 4 of them. So by doing that, we can address the water issue and get Goliad and Houston addressed.
I was just looking in this last rain and stuff, if somehow somebody could go in and where the side of the road and then the dirt has built up and shave that down where it'd get the water off the road.
Past the curb area?
I
like-
mean, where there is no curb.
Right.
It's keeping the water in the road.
Yeah.
And there's several before you get down Goliad, before you get to Loop 7 East. There's quite a bit of culverts that's clogged, that won't let it drain, so it's filling up and draining out into the road.
Okay.
Been doing that for.
Well, look at that with TxDOT. Usually TxDOT does a pretty. They did that on the loop not too long ago,
Yeah, it's bad on Goliad.
and see what their plans are. If not, maybe we can go out and temporarily, just with our grader,
Just-
knock that
just
lip
knock
off.
that lip off.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
I'll make a note to do
He's talking
that.
about that area where water stands
Where
at.
tents, where it's.
Yeah, every time it rains, they have to shut the road down. Just
Oh, it's
about.
been for
They did
20
Tenth
plus
Street,
years.
Yeah, 10th Street.
well, on out there closer to me too, I mean, the culverts are clogged.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're not, John, is it correct that they're not gonna invest the state until we get those water mains fixed?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they're on the
That's
list
one of the
now.
reasons that road's been put off for so long.
Couldn't do it.
South 19, here, I'll bring this up real quick. The downtown sidewalk construction, we were denied due to being awarded the previous round, but now we have a new round opening up in May. So we'll be resubmitting that application for the downtown revitalization project. The EDA, which is the one where we did all the water lines for South 4th Street and South 5th Street. South 4th, that is now on TxDOT's this going into this year's construction budget for all of South 4th, since we replaced those water lines out to the loop this past year. And so South 4th, and they'll be doing the same thing, going and milling that out, ditch work all the way down, culverts, addressing any safety issues, putting turning lanes and shoulders
Okay.
on South 4th Street. We're just complete.
Got a question
complete
about that, about where they had to move it into, like, business owners, parking and entrances, all that's tore up right now.
Right.
Would that be addressed?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. The full width of the right of way will be addressed now, with entrances
Okay.
to driveways. I wanted to give a quick update on South 5th Street, because I know that that's been discussed, and y'all have some concerns about it, as y'all should. South 5th, we had it engineered. They come in and they do soil testing. They pull soil samples, and I believe it was every 1,000 feet is what's typical. They'll pull samples every 1,000 feet and ensure composition of soils, the plasticity, what clay content. So And that's how they design how deep we need to go and what kind of materials we need to put back in to be sure they don't react to what's there. We definitely have an issue on South Fifth Street, especially from Texas. Basically, even before that we have some cracking, but from Texas, where the entrance there is to early childhood, and then all the way down to the loop almost, we have a big reaction to whatever soils were in there. So they called in our engineers. We're under performance bonding, so if there's something that goes wrong, they will fix it. They will address it, or under bonding, they'll pay for the complete repair of this. So we asked them to go out there and just block the street off because it had gotten so bad. The road has probably at least 12-inch lifts in it, and in big sections. There's cracks, inch to 2-inch cracks down the middle of this road. It's
bad.
It's a disaster zone, and
Yeah.
our engineers are aware of it. They brought in forensic analysts that they're doing core samples instead of every 1,000 feet. They're going a lot closer, and they're going and sending it all off to labs to see. They believe that it has a high sulfur content that somehow was either missed or was in between their locations. So they're going to go back in and re-engineer what needs to be done on that road to address that issue. But it will be all pulled back out and redone.
That's what's causing it to break up. I figured that concrete, if it does have concrete underneath that, the old highways.
No, that's all been pulled out. No, sir.
It is.
That's it's just whatever materials have gone in, the lime, the road base, and the stabilization materials, fly ash, whatever they put in there. If the pH levels are off, and depending on what materials are there, it's just reacted to it, and it just completely it'll swell up and it had big lifts. Oh, just letting y'all know, it is
Covered.
the road is completely shut down. There's no. Luckily, there's no one there in the area that's worse. So there's no one that physically lives there or has to turn in there. So we're routing all traffic around.
Is that the road that goes out in front of Memphis?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was wondering why it was shut down.
Yes. Sir. If you're traveling just the speed limit, you'll catch air.
Wow.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, I hit it.
Yeah. The next is the SIB, the State Infrastructure Bank projects. Just a quick recollection, these are the ones that were approved by council: South and North Grace, South 10th Street, South 7th Street, East Bell, West Houston, Cedar, MLK, and then we have 3 backup streets: Clark, North 10th, and San Jacinto. Those are the streets, and those are the locations that those are going in. Engineering surveying has been completed, all the topographical surveying, and once all that's back, right now they're getting their bids and everything, finalizing their engineering packets and going out for bid. We expect to go out for bids in the next month or 2 months, depending on how long it takes to finish the engineering, and then begin construction this summer on all of those streets. We had a CDBG grant in the works that had initially not been approved for funding, and so we went ahead with the State Infrastructure Bank project and included MLK. Since then, they've had some applicants that have fallen out of the scoring, and we were moved up, and we've received funding for not the entire length of MLK like the SIB, the State Infrastructure Bank project, was from Bell all the way to the Loop. So that's a little over a mile. This the CDBG program was for the worst part of it, which is about 3,000 feet. So that will come out of our SIB project. Instead of having to fund that through SIB, we get grant funds for 3,000 feet, and now we just pick up the other 2,000 feet roughly. So that'll give us more funding to roll over to those other streets that are qualified. And of course, I'm sure materials costs and a lot of other things that would affect us. So increasing those numbers are definitely going to be a benefit. The new swimming pool, it's currently in the bidding process. We went back to all of those that bid before for the swimming pool, and we're using buy board contracts to try to negotiate with them to get their prices down. We did make some changes that were in the initial engineering. Upon seeing the results of their prices, we removed a few things and changed a couple of the design elements on the pool to lower the cost. And we removed the concrete deck, everything outside of the swimming pool coping tile. From there out, we removed that, and we're bidding that locally, the concrete work. We're bidding the fencing locally. All the metal fencing will have painted steel, something really nice. That's all been designed, and a bid packet is prepared for that, and all the lighting, all the perimeter lighting for it to be bid out by local contractors. And we expect to get some better prices. Just seeing what the contractors from Houston bid on it, I feel pretty confident we're going to get some better prices by local contractors. So all of those, if y'all are aware, if the public's aware, if anyone knows of new or local contractors in concrete, lighting and or fencing, metal fencing, the bid packets are on our website. They're in the newspaper, and I believe until the 24th of this month, we'll do the sealed bids. We'll receive sealed bids on those. As soon as bids are received back and we go to construction, we do expect a midsummer completion date. We're still on track for construction completion in the summer. We have a hazard mitigation grant that we have the some warning sirens and a creek restoration down there off of East Houston, down by the old jail. And that goes back, so that area is under a grant project for stormwater and creek restoration, and then tornado sirens. We also submitted, as council might remember, but the application that hasn't been approved yet, but we do still have a pending application for a fire truck. The animal shelter, they did update us, let us know that they are moving out, and they expect to be completely out by the 1st of March. They're moving over to their property on the Loop, South Pine Animal Shelter, or Animal Hospital. And so that'll allow us to gain access and begin addressing any needs to get us our animal shelter open. We also applied for a sewer project through the new round of CDBG funding. We were told today that we may not get it since we were just funded for the MLK project. That we'll lose points on that. So we do have a home program project in the works. Right now it's the application has been submitted, and we're waiting on approval of if and how much we are approved for. We have 2 other Water Development Board grants applied for. And the way the Water Development Board works is if you are high enough up on the list, you maybe receive up to 50 to 70% of free money of loan forgiveness, and the rest would be a low interest to 0% interest loan. So depending on where you fall into the scoring. So it may be a complete loan, or we may get loan forgiveness. That's for the water well, and then for wastewater plant reconstruction. We have a lot of significant issues out at our, especially our north wastewater plant that need addressed. They're not going away, and they'll continue getting worse if we do not address them. Our digester, some clarifier work. And so we definitely want to see if there's any grant funds out there first. Main Street application is continuing, as well as our downtown strategic plan. I have reached out to another planning consultant firm out of Tyler to try to get another proposal. Under planning, it's not something that we would receive bids on per se, because it's built around what they can do and what things that we want. So we just want to see what they can offer and kind of compare it with the downtown strategies are the ones that we received the last proposal from. 2023 street construction projects. As council recollects, during our budget process each year, y'all approved these streets here for each of y'all's precincts for us to start addressing in prioritization of 1 to at least 5. So we have 8th Street in Precinct 1. Precinct 1 has been completed, the 8th Street. The next on the list is Redbud. So we'll move into Redbud after we address a couple of the other precincts. Precinct 2, Norman Lane was the #1 priority. We've gotten all the dig tests complete on Norman Lane and have already done some ditch work on it. We are waiting on one. There's a pretty good sized culvert that needs to be replaced. As soon as we can get that culvert set, we'll finish the ditch work and re-mill and stabilize that road.
What is the construction work going to be done on Redbud? What is that?
Well, tentatively we put it for April 1st. That'll give us roughly 2 months to move to Norman Lane, Precinct 3, which is finishing up 2nd and 3rd Streets, North 3rd and North 2nd.
Now, what are you going to do on Redbud is what I'm saying.
A full depth. We go in and mix it up, restabilize it, and put new asphalt on top.
Okay.
Have you paid
So in about 2 months.
Have you paid attention to South 2nd Street, the damage that it's suffering
Yes, sir.
since it's been repaid?
Yes, sir. Council is going to need to probably make a decision soon on 2nd
You can't
Street.
never build it good enough.
Not with
as long
18.
as them trucks are rolling down.
We have
through
big commercial traffic down 2nd Street to that scrap yard that we don't have the.
Is that the one that goes over the railroad tracks to the?
Yes, sir.
there. It is.
They probably need to take another route, huh?
Well, there is one route that we, and if I get council support behind it, we may go and talk to them. One route that we were looking at was, they own that property all the way over to Bell, close to the, all the way up and including that big warehouse beside the railroad tracks. And bring their
they
road.
own that.
Yes, sir.
That old building there too?
And bring their road out to Bell, which has concrete. And that would bring them out to South 4th, which are all commercially designed, not.
It's either that or you'll have to build that road to where it'll withhold that weight, you know. You'll have to be-
With council support, I can reach out to them and basically give them a time frame to move their entrance or pay for a commercial road to be put in.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
That's
I
been
mean,
recently
it's-
done.
Because it definitely, we've already repaired, South 2nd Street, and now it looks pathetic.
Turn it back up.
With big potholes already in it, you know. And so if they can come in on West
Did
Bell
we-
over there, it would be
Did we
ideal.
finish that street?
Yes.
Or was we supposed to go back and do more work?
No, we already,
supposed
we
to
put
do-
two, no. We put two,
I mean, So
We did that.
It was basically finished. and
It
that
was finished.
okay.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of heavy traffic,
Yeah.
including people going there, lots of
Right.
customers, and
Yeah.
they have large trailers, some of them.
Yeah.
But but the 18-wheelers that go in to haul.
I mean, you got pickups and pulling trailers. I don't see
Oh,
where
no.
that's a major
It's
thing.
heavy, it's-
But them weighted trucks, when they get ready to take their scraps out of there,
They tear it up.
they're rolling and they turn it up. So, yeah, I think we should address it.
The base is still in good shape, so as soon as we can get traffic off of it, we can go in
Top coat.
and put a top coat on it to get it back before we start losing the under.
Yeah.
Isn't there a
limit.
bridge on their road too? They don't have to cross a bridge?
No, there's either a larger culvert needs to be put in at the corner of Burnett, what is that, ma'am?
You talking about
The next,
Bonham?
Bonham. I
Bonham.
was want to say Burnett. On Bonham, there's lots of water. We have a water issue there that either needs to be addressed with a larger culvert or some type of a low water.
Got that little dip
crossing.
there. Yeah.
We're going to continue having problems there until that's really designed better. North Second, we did go in and do the initial stabilization. We have a couple issues where we're working with Brookshire Brothers and at one of our intersection crossings where we're going to have to design that as well with either low water crossings or culverts. But Brookshire's has ordered a large culvert for their driveway to address their issue. Then we'll go back in and do a top coat for both North and 3rd and North 2nd Street. Curtis is our next one, or the first one that was prioritized in Precinct 4, so we'll start on Curtis, hopefully within the next month. We're in the rainy season, so I do want to just let y'all know that that we're very affected by rain, so when we go into construction. Precinct 5, we're in construction there. We've already pulled quite a bit of the curbing that needs to be addressed on Trailwood, and we're actually going to be pouring concrete there tomorrow. Once all the curbing and gutter is addressed to where water drains correctly, then we'll go in and mix that road. We completed the water line as North 3rd we had a lot of problems. We went all the way from Houston to Pease Street behind Brookshire's, replaced all that water line, put in new hydrants, valves, and that's what allowed us to actually do the road work on North 3rd. We just completed that project. IT Williams Pavilion and bathroom roof and fixtures. Today they were setting beams on the pavilion. The 40 by 60 actually turned out to be bigger. And once you see it up, it's a pretty good size. Pretty good size pavilion. Definitely could be useful for.
That pavilion, is it going to be similar to the one we tore down in the park? Wooden structure, right?
No, sir. It's all steel structure.
It is.
It'll be a nice metal structure. We're running electrical to it. We'll have internal lights and plugs for bounce houses and water slides or whatever family reunion type activities we want to have over there. And then a new roof over top of the bathroom is also getting put on. Cleaning and painting the Civic Center, the big pavilion and the Ag Arena. We are putting estimates together, trying to find the best way to address those. Roof and gutter of City Hall, roof and gutter of Civic Center admin offices, and then also the roof and the gutter for the library will be up on an upcoming agenda item. And I can address that. Parking lot construction. We've we've reached out, we have gotten confirmation that for us to do, the work on, if it's a new construction, we will have to get engineering right now. I just want to get preliminary engineering to understand what would they, recommend first, in especially on South Fifth Street, or North Fifth Street, and closing that off, pulling up all of our water lines, stormwater issues, just addressing those before we get into any kind of construction. Welcome to Crockett signs. I've reached out several of the locations. Well, probably most of all the locations, except for two. There's no documentation on right-of-ways or easements or anything. It was a handshake back in the day that someone allowed us to put welcome signs on that property, and we don't have existing
I know they really.
documentation that says that we're allowed to be there. So I want to renew those. I want to go and speak with everyone if we have to relocate the location of those signs and move them if certain property owners don't want it to be there, and just find the best.
Are we paying for those spots?
No, sir.
The reason I know that was when they were doing those signs, several people said, no, this is our property.
Yeah.
You can't put it on, this is not city property.
Right.
So, I mean, it was brought to our attention that a lot of that we assumed was the right of way, but the city wasn't.
So before we do anything, the only thing we can do is remove the old signs, but we can't, reconstruct anything new until
Get an agreement.
we have something on paper allowing easement access or purchase, just outright purchase of a small piece of property there. And we did complete the sewer lines earlier this year on MLK. We went in and did that all in-house. It was a replacement of those sewer lines.
From what to where?
We went in.
So those sweeps having trouble up here by his house?
Yes, sir. Those
We
problems.
alleviate that problem.
Those problems have all been addressed. We went in with the camera and we actually followed it all the way up to where the sewer line goes off of MLK towards the school property, and have addressed any of the sewer lines that are underneath MLK before we start any road construction over there. There are a couple manholes that need to be addressed, but nothing that's hurting the flow of wastewater.
Yeah.
Any questions on?
A lot of great stuff.
Yep.
And, you're getting a lot of extra with the grant. You're just adding a lot of bang to the bucks. We know that the city couldn't generate that kind of funding, so.
Yes, ma'am. We have right at $12 million in construction projects in the works for this year, for this next year. That's without any of the other grants that are on the table that have not been approved yet, so.
That's awesome.
All right, any other questions?
Great job.
Yeah.
All right, it brings us to our business. Consider and approve a resolution of the City of Crockett, Texas, designating that the official polling place of all future municipal elections in precinct number 2 shall be at St. Francis Parishes, Hall 6, Hall 609 North 4th Street for the 2023 May uniform election scheduled for May 6, 2023, and all future election date.
Mayor and Council, this is, for quite a while now, it's been at the fire station for precinct 2. And we're beginning to, it doesn't work well with the atmosphere that is at the fire department with fire alarm calls, with people having to rush in. and do work during emergencies. Trying to work around poll workers and election booths and stuff. It's just, it's not a really good fit. And we've been trying to look at an alternate for some time now. And just going and looking at different churches and different locations with good access, ADA access and good parking. The Catholic Church was willing to allow us to move it to there, and it seems it's a very well-known, accessible location in a well-traveled area, and we feel like that would be a really good fit.
Make a motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
It's been moved and second, all in favor? Motion carries. Have a new polling space. Item number 3, consider and approve a resolution calling for the regular election of council members in precinct 1, 2, and mayor in and for the city of Crockett, Texas. Do we have election?
I make a motion to approve the resolution.
A second.
It's been moved and second, all in favor? Motion carries. Item number 4, consider and approve a joint election agreement between the Crockett Independent School District and the city of Crockett.
I make a motion to approve.
Okay, it's been moved, all in favor? I mean, it's been
I
moved and
second.
second, I'm sorry, missed that one.
A second.
Okay, it's been moved and second, all in favor? Motion carries. Brings us to item number 5. Consider and approve bids for roof and gutters at City Hall, Library, and Civic Center office.
Mayor and council, I have 3 stacks of bids, and I kind of separate them a little bit so you can look at them in order. The library gutters, the library roof we replaced right at 4 years ago, and we didn't have the funding for the gutters. The gutters are undersized and in obvious worse condition than they've ever been. They just can't keep up with the water load, so and some of them are starting to come away from the building. They've been nailed in, just an old-fashioned fastening system, and we really need to upgrade that in order to address water issues and maintain our roof at the library. We got 3 proposals for that. One from JD Gutters out of Lufkin for $10,800. Shoemake Welding and Roofing, they do gutters, and they bid for $12,000. And Lucas Roofing for $14,980. And they all bid on a 6-inch gutter with 4x5 downspouts and leaf guards. I'll go over these real quick if you want to. I'll go over the 3, and then council can decide how they want to break it up, if that's okay. The next is City Hall Roofing and Gutter, the roof and gutter for City Hall. Grumbles Roofing out of Lufkin. They bid it for $36,220, and that includes a 30-year shingle, removing the old ones, replacing it with 30-year architectural shingles, and 6-inch gutters with leaf guards and 4x5 downspouts, with a 5-year workmanship warranty. So that was $36,000. Shoemake bid on it for the roof and the gutter for $39,000. They do have a 10-year workmanship warranty. And Lucas Roofing for $44,980. And they have a 5-year workmanship warranty.
This is the
City Hall.
City Hall.
36 Grumbles, 39 Shoemake, and 44 9 for Lucas. On the Civic Center, and I'll give you all a little bit of an update. So the Civic Center is a standing seam metal roof, which is a very expensive style of metal roof, and it expands about a 5-foot span for the purlins up in the attic. And it has on top of the purlins, it has insulation, bat insulation, and then the roof is installed on top of that. We initially was getting quotes on, okay, so at the end of those sheet metals, at the end of that roof, there's an internal gutter. There's a gutter system, and then a parapet wall, an external wall, so you don't see the water coming off and on into that gutter system. And those the gutters have internal downspouts that go into a storm drain plumbing that that routes the water away from the sewer, and then so none of those downspouts, the internal downspouts, we actually went under the building. That building has a pretty good crawl space, probably about a 5-foot crawl space under the entire Civic Center. You cannot find any of the.
There you go.
I'm not guaranteeing that it's not tied in with our sewer system, or what. We can't locate the downspouts where that comes out, but we know we have a problem. And if you follow it on the inside, all the offices, the chamber and EDC offices, the conference room, wherever that internal gutter is, we have lots of water coming in on the inside of that
Between the two.
on those offices. So our recommendation was initially to just replace those panels, and instead of going and dropping it in an internal gutter, just bypass it, going all the way out to the outside of the building, and put outside gutters, external gutters, and just bypass the internal gutters. That's pretty expensive when you're looking at a standing seam roof, because you can't put it with a normal size type of a sheet metal, because it won't span those 5-foot spans. So we would have to go in and basically rebuild and redesign the roof. We did get bids on that though, replacing it with standing seam, and our two lowest bids was from Shoemake was $39,500, and roughly $35,000 from Accurate Roof Systems. And so Lucas had bid on that as well, but then he came back and requested he said he'd been thinking about it quite a bit, and I feel very confident in the design that he came up with was leaving the standing seam roof. It's in good shape. We don't have issues with that. Backing out the last row of screws, bending and fabricating it's probably going to be about a 16-inch eave trim, a metal trim that would be fabricated to go from the exterior of that wall and then go all the way underneath that sheet metal, just to bypass the internal gutters. That's really the only thing that we're needing to do, is get over those internal gutters and get all that water into an external gutter system. So with the fabrication of that and putting external gutters on the EDC roof was $9,890 was what he came back with a bid for. So I definitely think that putting 6-inch gutters, addressing that, getting the water out of those internal gutters, will address our problem at the Civic Center offices.
So when we say those internal gutters has never performed, they just recently failed. Oh, we don't know.
I think they've been there for close to 40 years now, and so I think they've performed for quite a while. But I know that since I've been here, we've started having leaks. So at least for 5-6 years, we've been having leaks out there, and it's just getting worse. We went in there and tried to seal coat the gutters, but we're not able to address it. It's still leaking.
25 here, 20.
So, however y'all want to, if y'all want to approve these,
I would like, right now, I mean, this is a big savings. I'd like to go with Lucas on the Civic Center, for sure, for right now.
right?
I don't know, do you want to do these one at a time? Or?
However council wishes.
Yeah, let's do them one at a time.
Okay. I make a motion, Lucas, on Civic Center.
Second.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved in second, all in favor? Motion carries. Okay, Lucas, for the Civic Center.
Okay, what do y'all wanna go to now?
Let's go on City Hall.
City
Grumbles is giving a really good deal. He's giving a 5-year warranty and everything, you know,
Hall. I
and,
would like
Give us
to
a
stay
10-year.
local, though.
And Shoemaker's
And
giving
he's
us a
cheaper.
10-year.
you know.
So,
I mean, I would really like to stay local.
He comes with a 10-year.
yeah, Shoemaker comes with a 10-year warranty, while Grumbles only have 5 years, so.
Which one's 10 years?
Shoemaker,
Shoemaker,
Oh,
includes living, and a 10-year workmanship on the roof, and this one is a 5-year craftsmanship work.
I'll make a motion, we'll go with Shoemaker on the City Hall.
second.
Okay, it's been moved in second, any discussion?
And it's Shoemate,
It's local.
Shoemaker's local.
yeah, he's in the middle. He's kinda in the middle of the pack.
But he gives a 10-year.
10-year craftsman.
Yeah. They all give, materials, the shingles are 30-year warranty shingles for all 3 of them.
Doesn't have a disposal fee.
It's been moved and seconded.
Okay, still up, any discussion?
proceed.
Has it been moved in second?
It's been moved in second, we're in discussion phase,
We
are
can
you
vote.
ready for the vote?
Yeah, we can vote.
Okay, all in favor? And that's Shoemaker. Okay, and the last one? For the library?
Okay. I would like to make a motion, Lucas on the library. I know he's a little bit more. But he's local and he does a lot here in town and he just saved us 25 on one and 29,000 on the other, on the Civic Center, so. And he's not that much more money. But I'd like to make a motion, we do Lucas on the library.
What about JD Gutters? Out of luck, and
Huh?
JD Gutters,
How about him?
yeah.
Do Shoemaker not have
mean,
a
Shoemaker?
haul off?
Yeah, and he don't have haul off on there.
I think that's
I'd
included.
like to know, does he come
it's included.
spend any tax money or any money here in Crockett?
He does a lot of work here, I know that.
I mean,
Who is that?
JD's Gutters.
Or you just, for local, since you were, I mean, is the driving factor, was it the local? Do you still have Shoemaker and Lucas?
yeah, you got Shoemaker on here, but it don't have haul off on the bid.
Oh, he doesn't have the haul off?
So, I mean, and like I said, Lucas has already saved us 25, 110, and 29,000 on the Civic Center.
Any,
Motion was made.
is there any other concern? Is a motion on the floor? second.
What's the difference in the amount of money? That's what I'm looking at here.
Probably, what, $1,100? $1,100.
Not much.
About 4,000?
No, it's not 4,000.
No, it's you mean between which one, Mr. Jackson?
Between 14 and, between Shoemaker and,
The library, where that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
isn't it?
Right, but between which
It's about
contractor?
41,880 between
Between
them and
Lucas
JD.
and the other bidders.
Oh, it's,
It's
4,000.
yes, sir.
Over
4,180.
4,000.
And then,
And then it's 2,980 with Shoemake.
But he don't have haul off on there.
Oh, which one?
it's
Mike?
probably included. I would think that's included. It wasn't, it's not specified though, you're right.
I mean, we're talking about saving citizens money, that's,
Well, we
And
just
you
did
get-
over here. We just did.
I know we wanna do local and when you can, but also we have to keep in mind that we're spending other people's money.
Okay.
Shoemake is 1,200,
12,000.
12,000.
more than the cheapest bid.
But I'm just one of five, so, but, you know, I,
Yeah, so between, so
I
it
know-
will be feasible to do the local with just that
I'm not doing
amount of
10.
those, so it's out of the two.
I mean, if we do local, I'd rather go with Shoemake.
Second.
Okay. Okay, the motion is, that motion was for, Lucas,
you said
and we didn't get a second on
I
that
say
one, right?
Shoemake.
Well, your motion is still on the table.
It was still on the table,
So it can fall for lack of
for
second.
lack of a second, okay, then can we get a new motion?
I make a motion that we award the bid to Shoemake.
Okay, motion on the table, can we get a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and second, all in favor?
Shoemake.
Was that, I didn't see, okay, Shoemaker it is, so that would take care of all of it.
Thank you,
And
Councilman.
I do, we don't take it lightly that we can do,
Recap just for mine, 'cause I got a little bit mixed up there. Recap, who got what?
Lucas got the Civic Center. And
Lucas, Civic,
Civic Center and the City Hall.
what is it?
It's Shoemake.
Shoemake got City Hall, didn't he?
Civic Center and City Hall. And Shoemaker,
The library.
Lucas got
Civic
Civic
Center.
Center.
Hall.
center.
Yeah,
Shoemaker
City
Got
Hall.
City Hall and the library.
Library.
Okay.
Well, what I do appreciate how we are trying to do the local as much as possible when it comes down to a closer margin, that if we could do to go with the local, so we do appreciate it, because we do know that the local people do above and beyond, and we do tend to beg them a lot. Everybody hits them up for all of their charitable things, so I do appreciate that note that, we are trying to do business local. And so, does anyone else have anything? I get a
That's
motion to
right.
adjourn.
Make a motion to
Change.
adjourn.
For our election.
You have to vote on that anyway. We adjourn.
I'm fixing to leave.
To my grandson.